Hey, Kevin here, top wanted financial advisor, two-time author, one-time bestseller, and we are here to talk about the stock market. We got a few things to cover. I'm just going to jump right into it. I want to give you 6 places that you should consider investing, to consider buying, to consider doing more research on these 6 places, these 6 investing choices to kind of help alleviate some of the pain. Because right now, a lot of people are complaining about seeing all this red. I'm tired of seeing red. This isn't fun. I don't like investing right now. Maybe I made the wrong choice at the ballot box, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to kind of address that. So, number one, 2021 is not what 2020 was, which I did tell you about that. Just because you had a great year last year does not mean at all that everything's going to be the same. People who had 400% returns, I even told you guys when I had my little 80% return, this is great, but it's a new year, things are going to be a bit different. And this is why I tell you guys, whether it's quarterly, whether it's biannual, which is every 6 months, or just annually, you need to readjust your portfolio based on how the market plays out. And right now, the market doesn't like the majority of tech stocks. For example, the stock market right now for this year is up like 5%. That ain't much. That's not saying much. 5%. For context, Facebook is also up like 4%. And it didn't used to be that way. It used to be market here, Facebook way out the box, doing all types of crazy stuff. Well, things are changing. People are rotating out of most tech stocks into other things. So I want to help you to decide, or at least narrow your list on things that you should be looking at right now to consider investing in. And perhaps some of you guys will buy some of these. I don't own any of these at the current moment except for one, which I'll tell you guys about, and then kind of give you why things are moving this way, why I like some of these stocks, and then what to do next, right? All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Some of these are new for me, so if I'm looking and reading the screen, it's because these are, again, fairly new for me, and some of these ticker symbols, there are thousands of them. I can't memorize them all, but I do try. All right, so the first one is JP Morgan. It's a brand name. It's I think it is the largest bank actually, and it's a place that you should consider, because what I'm trying to do is position my money and help you to position yourself in a place that is inevitable. We know that the market is not the market, but the economy is opening up. We've got 30 million vaccines or so. That's like 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 10 people. 1 out of every 10 people is at least vaccinated right now. Thereabout. So where are people, how are things going to change? At some point, small businesses are going to hire more. If you need to hire more people, get more equipment, open your business back up, you're going to need money for that. And where do you get money? You go to the bank. So JP Morgan is a very good position for that. So number one, they're going to loan a bit more. They're encouraged to loan a bit more because, or the business owners are encouraged to take those loans because rates are pretty low. So they're going to borrow more. They're going to go to a JP Morgan. But here's the other part of this: credit losses. Because remember, they sell credit cards at JP Morgan and these other places. Those losses, because at some point people are unemployed, right? They weren't making those payments. That's a loss for banks. This is why banks weren't that great last year. But now, as things open and people go back to work and get those extra hours, those losses are going to be reduced, which means they make more money. So it's a very, very good thing to at least consider. JP Morgan is something that should be on your list, but I don't think it's going to make you the most money. I think it's the safest money, in that it's a big company. They're not going to go broke. I think you can make some decent money there. But if you really want to make the most in this sector, I think it's the regional banks. That's the secret. The smaller banks that have more room to run. So those, I have 2 of them here. One is FCNCA. That is First Citizens Bank. It's a smaller regional bank. Again, you're not going to hear like JP Morgan, Bank of America. It's small, and I'll give you the returns in just a second. So First Citizens, again, that symbol is FCNCA. Then you got Bank First, which is actually out of Oklahoma, which is where I'm from. That is BANF. So that's 3 banks: JP Morgan, First Citizens, and Bank First. I don't understand what the First Citizens Bank First thing. You just got to have first in the name of your bank. So let's talk about comparisons. So remember, the stock market right now for the last 3 months is up about 5% according to Yahoo Finance. JP Morgan is up 22. Look at that, right? So JP Morgan's up 22. Stock market is just 5. First Citizens is up 38%. 38%, for the last 3 months, which is really good. And then you got Bank First up 22%, slightly above JP Morgan. So I got 38%, 24%, and 22% all over the past 3 months, where the stock market is just up 5. Again, these stocks are pretty much inevitable. We know that people are being vaccinated. We know businesses have to open up at some point. And when they do, we know for a fact they're going to need money. There's no way that business is going to open up without money. Even whether it's airlines or travel places, because you got to travel to somewhere, right? All the local shops and businesses around that place. I don't know wherever people travel, Myrtle Beach or something. I don't know. I haven't traveled in forever. The local restaurants and stuff around those areas that are going to see more travel, at least more than what they had last year. They're going to need money, and they're going to need it from places like JP Morgan and these regional banks. So you pick whatever bank you want or not. I'm not here to tell you what to invest in. I'm just saying these might be some ideas that you may want to research. So those are 3 of the 6: JP Morgan, Bank First, First Citizens. Next on my list is Google. Now, I've been telling y'all about Google since like the end of last year. Now, I'm a long-term investor in Google, so I'm going to invest in it anyway. However, like I said previously, a few months back, they did well last year with less revenue from advertising, which means when all these places were closing down, the same places are about to open up, they weren't spending money on advertising. Why spend money on advertising if I can only have 2 people in my restaurant or I'm closed altogether? Well, guess what? As things open up and they need to tell people, hey, here are our new hours, they got to do that on Google. We're back open. They're going to have to do this on YouTube and advertise. So Google's advertising budget or income is going to explode this year. Now, Google right now is only up 17, almost 18%, which is not as impressive as the banks, but you know it's a good tech name. I think this is a good price to get in consistently. So whether you want to get in or not, that's up to you, but I'm still DCAing in this. Now, I've had it for a while, so you can take that for what it's worth, but that's the place that, again, it's inevitable. Businesses, this is all about businesses and travel once people get out. Yes, you can consider the travel stocks and all that kind of stuff, but people have been doing it already. I'm trying to get you in places where people aren't thinking and there are best values and haven't been, beating a dead horse. So these are the places for that. So as again, you're traveling, you're taking American Airlines, right, to some hotel. Okay, you're going to eat at local restaurants, all the shops all around there. They're the ones who are going to be needing the money, taking these loans, hiring people, and they're going to need to tell you about these places on Google Maps, on YouTube, on Google Search, because when you get there, it's the first thing you do. Where's a good place to eat? Where's a good vacation spot? All that stuff has to be Google and banks. Okay, so that's 4, right? So we got JP Morgan, First Citizens, Google, and Bank First. That's 4. So let's get to the last 2. This one is controversial for me because it's not a stock. It's a stock I've been beaten up on for a while, but the oil industry is actually doing pretty well so far, which is not something I ever really expected. However, as the market changes, so too does my opinion. And right now, ExxonMobil is pretty decent. ExxonMobil is up 35% over the last 3 months. We're looking at 3 months because we're just looking at the quarter. And now this is really what we expected. So ExxonMobil is up over the last 3 months. In the last, I would say, last 3 or 4 weeks, it's not looking all that pretty. But I'm more so looking at 3 months to 3 months just to give ourselves a fair comparison. For example, I'm looking here. ExxonMobil started January, February 29th, which is almost 3 months to today. ExxonMobil was like $42 a share. That $56 a share now. So there's a pretty significant jump, again, over a relatively short period of time. We're talking 90 days. That's not too bad. Oil production, the supply and demand, oil can be weird. They are reducing production, which makes prices go up, which is usually a good thing for ExxonMobil. Now, I'm a little iffy on oil, partially because I'm not an oil expert. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. I've worked in a bank. I've got a degree in economics, so I'm a little more, I lean more towards banks because I understand that business a bit more. However, I ain't blind. And I see the stock is doing well, and most of oil is doing well. You can throw Chevron in this boat, which is up about 35% or so too. So it's just something you should keep your eye on. You definitely want to do your research. The thing about oil that makes it a little bit harder to analyze and understand than a regular stock that primarily operates in the US is because the oil market is different. You got production, you got supply and demand, and you got OPEC. I'm not going to say the whole acronym, Y'all can Google it. It's a cartel, and they really control the world's oil supply. And what they do, whatever beef they have, that affects the stock market and the oil market. So I'm gonna just pause it and just leave it there. The stock is doing well right now. You might want to consider the oil and energy space. Again, that's as much as I can go into detail with it, based on how that market tends to move. But just keep an eye on it. I'm more so if I got to pick, I'm probably going to go towards the banking sector because again, I have more of a bias and understanding there. Like, this is why you want to invest in what you know and what you believe and what you trust. So if you are an oil person or you are in oil country and you understand that a bit more, then you might lean towards ExxonMobil. They also pay a good dividend, so I want to throw that out there too. But do take a look at it. So that's number 5, and then number 6. And let me pull up my list again because I don't know where number 6 went. All right, so we talked about JP Morgan. We did Google, Bank First, Citizens, ExxonMobil, and actually one more was Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley is doing pretty well too. I want to pull that one up so I can give you a percentage. And Morgan Stanley, I mean, for the same reason the other banks are up pretty high. I just want to verify and give you guys a number. So Morgan Stanley is up about 17, almost 18%, right around where Google is, for different reasons. Obviously, they're a bit bigger and a little more diverse. So the bigger, wider the company is, sometimes the less it's going to make. So they're not like a necessarily a consumer bank. They're the bank for the big companies, right? They take companies public. JP Morgan does it. Goldman Sachs does it to a degree. So they're, kind of the big boys bank. So there's that. So they may not see the same returns as someone who banks specifically with smaller businesses. So those are the ideas. Those are the plays. So you've got, I'm just go back and read the list. Yeah, JP Morgan, Google, First Citizens, Bank First, Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch is owned by Bank of America, which you can consider if you want to. Morgan Stanley, and then ExxonMobil. So those are the 6. Of all these, it looks like First Citizens is making the most money of the 6 right now. And it's still early. There are a lot of things that can happen for the rest of this year, but this is what I would consider. It's been a quarter, almost a quarter. We kind of see how things are going to shake out. I think banking is going to be one of those top performing sectors. Right now, tech is just not it for whatever reason. However, I'm still holding and DCAing dollar cost averaging to stuff I already hold because I don't think those companies are bad. They're just not performing to what we're used to. For example, Microsoft was up 75% last year, right? It might not do that this year just based on how people feel about tech. So those are the places. I think banking is probably going to be a good spot. I'm still going for Google. I think they're in a very, very good position. And then ExxonMobil, surprisingly, they might be one of the best this year. Or at least this quarter. It's weird, but it works. All right, so let me know which one of these excites you the most. What are some other areas that you're looking for that people aren't? And how do you feel about your portfolio so far, the first 90 or so days of the year? All right, that's it for me. Make sure you hit the share button. You want to let people know about the channel, about the page, and that's it. Whoa, sorry, one more thing. The Investors Toolkit, $300 off. Use the code 3, the number 300 off, OFF. Put it all in one word, you get $300 off. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and put it there, put the code there, you'll see that there's a payment plan option. Your first payment will be $49. So I'll show you how do I find stocks like this. How do you reduce your risk? How do you kind of understand where to go, and how do you start? What accounts do you use? All that stuff we cover inside the Investors Toolkit. The link will be above. The discount code will be above. You should be able to just copy and paste it there. But it's $300 off, and it is over tomorrow. So when you see tomorrow's video and the code don't work, you need to hop on that right now. All right, that's it for me. Talk to you guys later.